Sorry, guys. Try to go live now. I'm sorry. I don't know what this is about. Same thing. It's unable to join. I don't know what this is about at all. I guess you gotta drop your questions here. Hey. I guess you gotta drop your questions here. I'm really not understanding why I can't go live. I'm sorry, guys. This is like a distraction that I can't go live with you people because this is kind of like messing up the whole flow. But let me keep it going. You drop your questions again. I'm going to see what's going on here. Yeah, where was I at? Somebody, what up though? What's the topic? The topic was reasons why your mate or your spouse may cheat. And this is not only from a female's perspective, this is also from a male's perspective. So a male can drop their point on reasons why they cheat, as well as females. Have any of you, I'm sure there's some people here that probably cheated, been cheated on, probably still facing some type of trust issues from that relationship. Can you kind of drop a line on where you might be now, if that's you? Or if you have any situation going on, like how did you get over a heartbreak? Or are you going through one right now? What were the reasons that you ever cheated? You may not be that person now, but like in the past, if you ever have, what were your reasons for doing it? Hey, Henrock. Hey, Sue. Welcome back. I'm trying to figure out how come I can't go live with other people. This never happened to me before, and I have no idea why. Yes, but being that one thing I'm gonna say, like if any of you have been in those situations where you've been cheated on or whatever, or you're trying to get through it, I would say that the best thing for you to do, if you ever feel the need that you need to talk to like a friend, hey Danny, if you ever feel like you need to talk to somebody about your situations, make sure that you're not just telling any random one of your friends, like talk to somebody that has a sound mind, that will give you some type of sound advice, like somebody that usually sees life from a different all around perspective. Don't speak to the person that, that always has the dark side of the card to talk about. Like that's not the type of information that you might want in your psyche when you're in a vulnerable state within yourself or in your relationship, especially like if it's a situation that you may be in and you may be feeling like, should you stay, should you go? My advice would always be, this is me. It depends what you're going through. It could be your first time on this rodeo, but I'm the type of person that will always promote for you to do the harder thing, which is to grow in love, and that may require you to stay in that relationship. But there's also signs that will let you know. But I believe that if you give it your all, at least you'll know if that's for you or ever will be for you. And you also have grown within yourself to know, like, you're either going to grow in love with your mate, or you have grown so much in love with yourself that you know that you deserve more than what you were in. So that will always be my advice. But if you do decide to speak to a friend or somebody, make sure somebody that's giving you some good advice. Don't just speak to anybody, because you want somebody that's going to give you the real. You don't want somebody that's going to sit there and validate your actions and be like, oh, this is what you're going through, and what you're feeling is like, oh, it's okay, I'd rather you just leave person. whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm not able to go live. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I have to check my settings. Women are better at cheating than men. Yeah, because we're more aware about certain things, but I mean, men just do it because they just do it. Like, sometimes you guys do it for no rhyme or reason. Women, there's always a reason when we cheat. Get you a Joe. I appreciate that. Yes, get you somebody that's going to give you some solid advice, not someone that's going to validate your BS and make you stay in a dark place. Like somebody that's going to uplift you and make you see things on a different schedule when you're with somebody. I think it's pretty courageous to work through those hard situations when you're with somebody. It's pretty, like, especially if you have kids invested, or just things like you gotta weigh out your options, but if you're with somebody that's totally like tearing you down and you do not need to be with them, like, don't be with them, like, only at that point. If it's detrimental to your health, detrimental to your mind, your well-being, of course, I'm not condoning domestic violence in any situation. Those are the situations where I could say, throw this whole person away. But if it's something where it's like, yo, you see that fine line of somebody working to be a better person for you, exactly, run with your jogging shoes. Like, if you see somebody that's trying to be a better person for you, that's actively working towards creating something better, that's showing you little signs of love to move forward with you, stay in there for the long haul, work through your own emotions, build yourself up, work through it. The resentment thing that we were talking about, I'm sorry, I'm like remembering now, that resentment thing that we were talking about, I think the resentment, like, being in that relationship, it's half you and half that person. Like, even if the person did you wrong, they could, let's say, be 98% wrong for the situation, but you still owe yourself that 2% to see what led you there. Like, what happened? What made this relationship go the way it did? And I'm not telling you to blame yourself, but bring yourself back to where the issue started, and this way you could work back outward to figure it out with your mate, as long as they're willing to do the same. But the game done changed. Everybody is a savage now. I mean, I think Savage has been out there. I think it's just the technology that makes it a little bit more vivid. But I think if a woman cheats, it comes with a more emotional impact. Exactly. Like, it's because emotional impact on what end? Is it more emotional towards the man because he found out his woman cheated, or is it or the emotional impact is on the fact of, I'm not sure which angle you mean, Jigs. I ain't got it. Never mind. The resentment can go away. That's a choice. The resentment can go away. That's something you gotta dig deep in. I believe that does go away. Like, if you think about it, outside of a relationship, you may have resentment towards a regular friend of yours, for whatever reason, and you grow past it. It's the same. You apply that to your relationship as well. Find out what are you resenting. Go back down to that. What are you resenting? And if you're still in it, are you going to hold that hurt or that resentment in for how long? Because you're still in the relationship. So you're either going to grow past it, or you're going to hold on to that bad emotion. But you got to choose what you're doing with that resentment. Emotional reason to cheat. Yeah, because usually, and I was saying this before you joined, that usually when a woman cheats, it's because of neglect. They feel that it's probably out of neglect, or maybe out of revenge. When women do it, women's intention most of the time is not to just get up and cheat on somebody. They cheat because they're hurt. You might be resenting yourself for staying. Then that's a deeper issue. You're resenting him, so you're not fully forgiving in that situation. And that's something else to consider too, because if you're in a relationship and let's say your mate cheated on you and you choose to stay because you've seen little signs where it's like, okay, I have something to work with, I have something to move towards. That's not for you to sit there and say, I'm going to stay here and keep that bag over your head from prior situations. That's for you to actively, in your mind, as well as him showing you or her showing you something different, to move forward and learn to forgive. Of course, you're going to know what they were capable of in the past, but you have to open yourself up to that love again. That's the only way. You can't continue to ride that out with fear in the middle of it, because all you're doing is straining the emotions in that relationship. You can't be one of those people that's like, if you're going to forgive and learn to just let that go. You have to be all in with that. Like I said, you will know, like, all right, this person, they did me dirty. I think everybody's worthy of forgiveness. And I've said this before, but you can't harbor that. You cannot harbor that emotion. If you made that conscious decision to say, I'm going to let that go and I'm going to still be with you, be with them and move forward. Don't bring that back up. See that person in a different light and allow that person to show you that. That part, forgiveness, absolutely. Years later to what? So men are more physical and can leave it at that. Yeah, men are more physical, but when men cheat, like, you guys cheat with your eyes first, so it's like you're gonna go out and cheat, but there's still consequences that come with that if your wife or your girlfriend finds out, and I don't know if a lot of people put thought into that. Like, when you decide to go out and cheat, do you think about, what if I get caught? What's going to happen to the person that I really care about? Mm-hmm. What's going to happen to their emotions? I don't know how much people really put thought into that. Still unable to go live. Thank you for requesting again. I really have no idea what that's about. I'm going to have to figure that out. Very nice, not for them, but for you. Very necessary, not for them, but for you. Yes, some people grow apart over time. The situation is just too complex to walk away from. Yes, that's also true, but either you're going to be a man and speak on it, and a man or a woman, and be real about that, about, look, this is where we're going. Let me see, did I read that right? Some people grow apart over time. The situation is just too complex to walk away from. Too much invested, kids home, etc. Yes, but I don't think that should stop you from being true to yourself. True to yourself and true to, like, you have all of that invested, but a lot of times it's like you already seen these flags, or you already have this. Like, how much more are you going to invest? Like, I feel like after a while this just becomes a convenient situation where it's like you're not actively being open to your mate on how you really feel in the situation. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's people do grow apart, but are you sure that that's what it is, or is it just like your relationship is just at a point where you forgot why you guys are where you are to begin with? I don't think another thing too, I don't think everybody, when you're in a relationship, I don't think it's supposed to be high and in love every day. That's an active thing to work on. Even in the hardest spaces, you have to choose love, and it's just like, that kind of works for me in certain cases, because when I feel like I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be bothered, leave me alone, in certain places, I start to think about I need to do something out of love. I need to shift this energy. This is not good. This is not good. And I feel like if you don't learn this in your situation now, let's say if you feel like you're growing apart, right? Make sure it's not an illusion. You feel like you're growing apart. You walk away from your situation. That very same moment of where you felt like you were growing apart, you will probably have to face again in your next situation because you didn't face it where you were. That grow apart mentality is an excuse. Back. Hey, sassy sa. Excuse. All right. I also noticed some people marry too early and years later develop new interests or new attractions. Yes, I also covered that before. When you do date at a young age, you kind of don't really know yourself or the things that really make you, the things that you're truly interested in. So when you do start dating somebody or you end up with somebody, it's kind of like, wow, is this really what I want? The older you get and you start to figure your life out, you start to see, like, I settled, this is not even all of me. I think we're always evolving. We're always constantly figuring out something new about ourselves, something new that we like. And there's nothing like having somebody with you that can grow with you in the same way. Like even if you guys have different interests, they're like, I can't say like fully different interests, but like what attracted you to that person in the beginning? Like what did you guys grow off of? What connected you guys to begin with if you started at a young age? Like you have to sometimes take that step backwards. Even if you start feeling like this is not it right now, you have to kind of rewind in your mind. Go back to the beginning that got you there and work back through that. Fear of missing out on what? If you know the world that I live in and you live in that same world, there's not much that you're missing out on. Exactly. Talk to couples who have been together over 20 years. They will tell you at times you will feel like you aren't in love with that person. It doesn't mean you give up. Exactly. Sometimes they become your homie. Like, all right, you're not my husband today. You're on homie time. You are on homie time. There's nothing in this world that when you have that solidity in your corner, you better know what you're working with. Very true. I always wanted to marry my high school sweetheart, not him per se, but the thought so our kids could say we've been together for years. But I'm happy that wasn't the case because, hey, Pluck, what was attractive then isn't now. So it's part of growth. Exactly. And I think you should just grow with who you're with, like make sure you got to have your own checklist. You got to know what works for you. Right now, you could just be tired. You might need a revival in your relationship. I don't think you need to kind of like throw that person away, but you need to do that work. You need to do that work within yourself to push forward in that situation. You might just need a revival. You might need something different. Routine can make a relationship hella boring. Like if you guys are like clockwork, you need to throw a little ripple in that tide. Throw a little ripple in that tide. I get tired of routine by myself, so I could only imagine what it's like in a relationship. Hi, Dom. Yes, guys, so it's actually winding down to about 10 o'clock. I don't know if anybody has any other input, but I don't want to hold you up because I heard this is grown folks' bedtime. So I'm sorry that we had technical difficulties. I have to figure it out after this, but hopefully we get it right for next week. That's why relationships are hard. People stay growing, so things are constantly changing. Yes, but people don't like to grow. Some people are like stuck to their routines or they're stuck to who they are, and they always feel like I rather look at the other person and see or get mad like, oh, this person isn't moving a certain way, and it gets on my nerves, instead of kind of checking themselves like, you know what, if I'm annoyed with somebody else right now or my mate, I need to figure out why am I annoyed, and I need to go work on that myself. Like, let me go do something about my annoyance right now. You know, like, and get that out of your system. I think it's beautiful when two people could really ride a wave together, you know? So I will always encourage you to figure it out before I tell you to let anything go. You know, cheating happens, but the eyes that I have now compared to the eyes that I used to have, unless if he's like a repetitive or she's a repetitive cheater, like just totally like has no regard to anything and just reckless with it, throw that person away. You know, like you don't need that type of energy in your life. You don't need nobody looking to bring you any type of infections or anything. You know, that's just totally not healthy. Like once again, the key is to be with somebody that you actively see growing with you. And that's that, you know. With that time comes that extra love and that respect, but y'all have to both be putting that effort in together. That's why relationships are hard. People, yep, great topic. Thank you. Growth is important. Part of maturity. Absolutely. 20 years and counting, 2 years married. Come on, married and it's rough. You went through the long haul already, girl. What you mean? She said 20 years and counting, 2 years married. Girl, you know what you wanted and you did it. And that's that. So you got to work through it, girl. That, like, you did football numbers already. Work your ass through it. Build yourself up, past that resentment, throw a ripple in the tide, do something different. Hit me in my DM. We can talk about it, girl. We are going to get this back on track for you. We're going to bring some excitement back. You already went through you was married longer than you were actually married. Like, what are you talking about? We could definitely continue this. Look, I'm open to more topics once again. I'm gonna let you guys go. It was cool, minus the technical difficulties. Once I said, you know, I mean, like I said before, thank you guys for joining in. Next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m., I'm gonna go live again. For the new people that came on, I'm always welcome to new topics. Hit me in my DM if there's certain things that you want me to cover, pressing issues that you may be going through, or stuff that you just want to hear other people cover or talk about, you know, hear other people's point of view on certain things. I am here for that. I need a part 2 on reasons why people cheat. You think so? You think so? A part 2? All right, we might bring that back one day. All right, we might bring that back. All right. Love you guys. Thank you, ladies and gents. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of the week, and see you next week. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Take care.